Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I am looking at two pens, well, two very similar pens from Platypus pens. These are the Platypus pens Quokkas. Now, if you are not familiar with Platypus pens, this is a small company, well, one guy, 3D printing pens in Melbourne here in Australia, and he makes these pens. As I said, he writes the coding, all that kind of stuff, makes the pens himself based on the colors that you want when you order them. And there's a range of colors and patterns and things. I have looked at a couple of Platypus pens in the past, both the Model 10. So he has two models at the moment, the Model 1 and the Model 10. Both of these are Model 10s, which is the bigger pen. This is the Onyx, same as the Pocket Quokka here, and then the Terracotta. And actually, there are videos on both of those here on my channel if you want to check them out. The Quokkas are designed to be pocket versions of those pens. Now, this is the Model 1 and this is the Model 10, so it's a slightly bigger version. Now, if you are not familiar with what a Quokka is a small little animal that is native to a little island of Western Australia. Check them out as well. They're very, very cute. Anyway, these are the Quokkas, two little pocket fountain pens, but they actually turn out to be a really good size pen in the hand when they are posted, as a lot of these sort of pocket pens tend to. And as I said, these are 3D printed and have a range of colors that are available, a range of these are different patterns, as you can see. So we've got a couple of different patterns across these pens, which is great in terms of the pattern on the print. One thing is he will not be making the pocket pen in this terracotta, but yes, this is what is available. Now, as these stand right here, you could adapt these to be eyedropperable pens. You could put some silicone grease on, you could put a little O-ring on if you wanted to, but he is developing a more eyedropperable version of this of these pens, as well as a number of other pens at the moment, which is wonderful. I had the privilege of going and sitting with him and looking at some of his upcoming stuff, and it's really exciting. This is a guy who loves fountain pens, who loves making them, who loves all the technology involved with 3D printing and how all the different plastics and things work. So I'm going to talk about these pens a little bit, talk about parts and features, all that kind of stuff. So firstly, we'll start. So first thing I will say is, as I said, these are 3D printed. So he's written the code. What that means is that they are made to order based on what you want. So you can pick the color of the material and the trim, and then the pattern you want on the material, which is great. And the section is the same color as the main part of the pen, and then there's a couple of points of trim there. These are not, you cannot put a converter in these. These are too small, so they are cartridge only, and they are standard international. They're screw cap, they're very secure, they're well made, all of that kind of stuff. It's great. So we'll start with the Model 1 here. This is the smaller version. This is the bronze material. The green is called the bronze, and then that is the alpha brass trim. The cap unscrews in about 1 3/4 turns, and that's the same for both pens. The Model 1 comes with a number 5 Yovo nib, and I have it here with a medium. It's a steel nib and plastic feed, and it's a very, very nice size in the hand when it is posted. These pens are both probably too small to do anything more than tick something off a checklist, unposted, but when they're posted, and they post quite securely, they actually fit very, very nicely in the hand. Now, the original model, I'll just use the Model 10 here because that's what I have, the design has this very particular arc to the shape of the pen that has been adapted slightly for the pocket versions, the Quokkas here. So it curves and then sort of straightens out on the body, which allows you actually, where it grips into the section there, into the cap, sorry, to grip at 2 points, making it very, very secure. That's not going to sort of go anywhere. There's barely any movement in it at all. This pattern is the number 2 pattern. If you go onto the Platypus Pens website, you will see the range of patterns that he has available. This is the number 2 pattern, which is what I got on my original Onyx pen, Model 10 here. It's very, very nice. So the dimensions of the Model 10, it's 95 millimeters when it is capped. So it makes it a very pocketable size. It's 85 when it is uncapped, which is very, very small. but when it is posted, it is 136 millimeters, which makes it a very good size in the hand, as you can see. The section is around the 9.7 millimeters in the middle there, and the pen weighs 14 grams, so they are quite light. But one thing that these pens have to their advantage is actually the fact that he adds a little bit of weight to the pen with some ballast, and it actually means that the pen has a weighted roll stop. So rolled off camera, but it stopped just off. But you can see like it has this point where it sort of sits, and that is done with each pen. And so that gives it a nice little bit of weight in the hand, but also, as I said, because there's no clip on this pen, it gives it a roll stop as well. If we now look at the Model 10, this comes with a number 6 steel Yovo nib. Once again, I have it in a medium plastic feed. This is the onyx material, the grey, which I really, really enjoy, and then the aquamarine trim, which is just beautiful. It's got a really beautiful, vibrant sort of quality to it. And this is the pattern 1. So it looks like a little weave sort of pattern there, and it's, once again, it's very, very nice. Now, as I said, I got a Model 10 in the original version there. And so what I thought I would do is I'd just do a little like size comparison of the two of them. So obviously this is a pen that is designed to be written with posted. So when you see them posted together, the original non-Quokka version of the Model 10 is considerably bigger. But when you actually, the way you write with, I prefer to write with this pen unposted. As you would have seen in my review, it fits very nicely in the hand. It's got a nice weight. And it actually, you can actually see that it's actually a fairly good size alongside its bigger brother there. So there's a couple of little changes you can see, like towards the end of the section, it's a little bit different, and that's just part of the development of the pens. But yeah, posted, it's a very, very sort of nice length. The Model 10, I think, actually posts in the Quokka, posts very, very nicely. It's a beautiful, it's got actually a really nice sort of click feeling in there, where it just, you can actually feel it lock in. That may also have something to do with the pattern that the pen is printed with, but it's really, really solid. So this one, it comes in at 100 millimeters or 10 centimeters when it is capped, which is great, 93 when it is uncapped, and 145 when it is posted, which makes this a very good pen in the hand. So what I really like about the Quokkas is when they are posted, because they post deep, or actually not that deep into the pen, but like deep in your hand, you don't rub on the cap at all. It's something that one of the reasons I don't like posting a lot of pens is feeling the cap rub on my hand, but you don't feel that with this. The threads are all very smooth. This goes for both models, and the section is a nice width here. On the Model 10, it's 10.2 millimeters, which is superb, and the weight of this is 17 grams, so it's quite a comfortable weight. Once again, ballasted with that weighted roll stop, very, very nice. So as I said, these are both only cartridge pens. So you standard short cartridges. So if you are using a cartridge, my suggestion is you refill that cartridge. Just in terms of sustainability and things like that. It's an important thing. Part of our community is being conscious of that. So refill them, so do that with a syringe, whatever your method is, because if you can't fit a converter in the pen, I still suggest you use bottled ink as much as you can using a cleaned cartridge. Now, so that is the basics of both of these pens. They have these lovely shape to it, the curve. It's got a nice section on it, smooth threads, well made, well printed, well designed. Let's see how they write. So because these pens are basically, sort of standard Yovo nib and feed using an international cartridge, you're going to expect they're going to write relatively well. This is the Platypus pens. Model 1 Quokka. With a number 5 Yovo nib, and this is a medium. The ink in this is Diamine Ultra Green. Really nice green, nice ink, not too wet. The way I kind of look at pocket pens is that they should be really solid sort of everyday writers. you should be able to write on whatever you have to write on with them. So I don't tend to use super wet inks in pocket pens, just because that isn't as practical to me. When I got this, I think it had Diamine Saddle Brown. No, sorry, this one had Quokka Caramel in it, which is another quite dry ink. It's a very smooth writer, what you would expect from a Jowo medium, even the number 5 Jowo here. The only thing I will say is that it keeps up with fast writing, but when you first uncap it and you start writing with it, it is a lot wetter and it settles into a drier writer. It's not dry, it's quite a generous, writer. Reverse writing is not entirely possible. It dries out very, very quickly. But when it is a wetter writer at the start, you do get, it is considerably wetter than when it settles. And that's not abnormal on a lot of pens, but I think it's an interesting thing that doing long writing sessions, particularly with this number 5, I have found that like giving it, a minute occasionally just to sort of resaturate the feed means you get a more pleasant writing experience. One thing I also want to say about these pens, which I neglected to mention before, was that in my previous review of the Platypus pens, I commented about the color of the liner being a bit like you can't choose the color of the liner, and that blue kind of, not being the same, being as an option, like, something more neutral would be nice. He's actually swapped that out now for a white, because that is a different kind of plastic in the liner. The lining plastic is softer, so that when you post these pens, it doesn't affect this material. When I say softer, not noticeably, but just enough so that like you aren't going to damage the finish here when you post them. Let's now write with the Model 10 Quokka here, which is, I will straight up say, the Model 10 is my preference. When I first chose between the Model 1 and the Model 10 on the original pens, I chose the larger version, and I still feel that to be, for me, a better size for my hand. So this is the hard start there. I must admit, I don't normally get hard starts with this. As I said, it's a standard Jowo nib and feed, and the pen seals very well. As I said, he's working on an eyedropperable version, but that's not going to seal the cap. This is a Model 10 Quokka. As I said, it is generally, hard starts are not common with this pen. This has a number 6, and this is a medium as well. This one is considerably wetter. This is Diamine Bilberry, an ink I adore. Love this ink. Absolutely, hands down, one of my absolute favorite inks. I think it's beautiful. And this pen writes beautifully with it. And even with quick writing, camera. It's good. It keeps up. This is much wetter. The medium is much wetter. And this is, as I said, just a standard cartridge that I'm using here. So I haven't done anything to make this wetter or anything like that. But you can see that both of these pens write very, very well. They are, smooth. They are Jowo nibs. He's doing all the right things, and I think the design actually really that it all works together really, really nicely. So let's talk about some pros and cons now for these pens. So cons is hard to kind of convey. Okay, so firstly, an obvious con is that these pens are too small to use a converter. But that is what you're getting. As I said, he's working on an eyedropperable version of these that come with a little ring in it and all that kind of stuff, and which is amazing. But they are too small for a converter. And because of that, people will consider the pens too small. But remember, these are pocket pens. This is a Quokka Sport. Like, they are smaller than the Quokka, but I don't think they are too small by any stretch. I didn't do a size comparison before, so I might just quickly run that alongside a Lamy Safari here. So as you can see, posted, they are both very, capped I should say, they are both very, very small. Uncapped, well, uncapped and unposted, they are ridiculously small. But then in their writing forms, I think they look great alongside the Lamy Safari, and of course posted, the Lamy Safari does come out a lot longer, but they are good size pens. For pocket pens, they are good. Like, I'll just swap this Lamy out now for the Quokka Sport when it's in its posted form. They stand up beautifully alongside it, and they've actually got a better section, I think, a longer section and also slightly wider, and also having bigger nibs. You know, the Quokka is kind of like a number 4, the Model 1 being a number 5, and the Model 10 being a number 6. I want to mention the price of these pens. Now, Michael there at Platypus Pens, for the original Model 1 and 10, came up with a pricing structure based on the amount of time it takes to print, the amount of time it takes to work, you know, the fact that he has to like build the liners into the pen, he has to glue them, he has to, you know, put the weighting in, and there's the nibs and feeds and all of that kind of stuff. That same work and effort goes into making the pocket pens, the little Quokkas here. So the price at this point is not different to the full-size pens. So the Model 1 comes in at about 150 and the Model 10 at about 170 Australian dollars. Now that does price them at a high price point for a pocket pen and for a plastic pocket pen. But these are his own designs. These are his own coding, his own manufacturing. He does all this work himself. You are buying a one-off. You are buying something that you can customize to your desires. So yes, that is a higher price point. But I think there are a number of pros with this pen. The nibs I think are great. As I said, they're Yovo nibs, so you get a number 6. You know, they're good. It's great. I think the weighted section and the size of the section is really, really great. And I do also love the fact that he changed the liner to that sort of more neutral white. Not that the color of the liner necessarily made or broke the pen. I just think it's a nice touch that it's a bit more neutral. When you can choose the colors of a number of elements of this pen and the patterns and things, to have a more neutral liner, I think is very, very nice. If you go onto his website, you can read about the process. You can see the different patterns and colors and all that kind of thing, and see what is for you. I think they're great pens. I think they write beautifully. I think they fit so nicely in the hand. I really enjoy them. I think that they're really very, very nice. And particularly, as I said, this Model 10 for me is a great, great size. So I hope you found this video about the Quokka pens from Platypus Pens to be interesting and useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications button if you want to stay up to date with the videos that I produce, and please feel free to get in touch using any of the platforms listed below. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at @_offstage_me, or you can contact me on any of my videos here, or drop me an email which is listed down below. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there is a way you would like to support the channel by sponsoring a review or providing an item for review, I would love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, be they pocket pens or full-size pens, and I'll talk to you soon.